World of Warcraft, the last Titan.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Got a big question to fill today, and a big question that will likely be lingering for a good while too. Who exactly is going to be the last Titan? Some answers and guesses are a bit more obvious than some others, but it's a question I've been left with since its announcement. That left such an impact on me when announced at BlizzCon, alongside its siblings of War Within and Midnight. Last can mean a lot of things. Is the last Titan just the final remnant of the quantity we already have? Like the last batch of cookies that is ready to be baked and placed with the others, once finished, that has yet to be eaten? Or is it the very last where there is nothing else that remains because I ate all of those cookies and this is the sole surviving cookie? It is suspicious that it's not called the final Titan, but instead it is called the last Titan. But dang it, do I now want cookies. Well, anyways, I'll take a crack at it regardless. The Titan Pantheon are now one of Warcraft's most powerful and influential groups in the entire cosmos. Titans are powerful planet-sized beings that have astronomical powers that literally help shape the cosmos. The ones that we're aware of who are active are Aman'Thul, Agramar, Eonar, Sargeras, Norgannon, Khaz'garath, and Golganeth. And of course, Azeroth. But there is also the presumed deceased Argus, who was corrupted by Fel and Death, and ultimately destroyed twice, both on the seat of the Pantheon and the Shadowlands. There is also another Titan introduced in Hearthstone that may or may not be canon, as it is Hearthstone. She is known as Amidus, who has the habit of leaving the Titan Pantheon when harmony is lost within the group. There is also Koresh, whom was and can be presumed to be killed by Dementius, who was devoured by such a being. Locust Walker at least warns us so when it too sung to the ethereals of its own radiant song before being ravaged by the void. This leaves a decent amount of Titans for us to choose from here, seemingly. Now, most importantly, I want to address a few things here before we continue, in regards to Azeroth, who has and is referred to as a Titan many times now. We're very much led to believe that Azeroth is the final Titan. Obviously, that makes the most sense. End the video. Okay, not so fast there, buddy. I've still got quite a bit to say before we end this shebang. So many of the cosmic forces seek out Azeroth, and wish to use her for their own ends, as we've known. That much has been abundantly clear for the past, well, since Azeroth's very history began. The Black Empire, the Titans, the Legion, even Death itself has vied for this specific planet because of her ultimate potential. Even the Titans have worded that should the world soul of Azeroth ever be born, it will be the strongest of their people, the most powerful Titan, and thus explains why every cosmic force has desired her for their own ends. The Void wants to create some form of Void Titan. That means to fully manifest their Void Lords into our reality, as they're currently only capable of doing so with echo-like versions of their grandeur, as they are currently bound to their own realm. The Legion, led by Sargeras, who's already weaponized other Titans for his own ends to create his Dark Pantheon, and he wants to do so with Azeroth at his side, or to ultimately remove her from the game, from threatening his own plans of ridding the cosmos of all life. A way to keep the Void from winning, who need life to do what they do. Sargeras even destroyed any other Titans who might already be corrupted, or were a threat, or just weren't born yet. he would remove most Titans from the board, really. Death, or the Jailer, yes, that guy, ugh. That thing, nearly used Azeroth as a battery to rewrite the entire cosmos in his own image, before being decommissioned for good. Even the light may very well have a stake in this, with the ancient massive crystal beneath Azeroth's Earth, Beledar as it is called by the surviving Arathi, which may very well have been an answer to this tug of war for Azeroth between all cosmic forces, who all are trying to tamper with this planet. That could very well explain why Azeroth's blood is both a holy gold and that titanic blue that we're used to. Something I thought was very unnatural and odd for the planet to have two colors for its blood. The light wants Azeroth a part of itself, likely to ensure that it remains on top, after all of these years of other forces seemingly having an advantage against it. Even Azeroth compares the crystals that the Arathi use within Hollowfall to be something like Azerite, but it's not Azerite, and on a closer inspection, it even resembles Azerite just a bit, without that blue hue that we're used to. So maybe something is up with that crystal and Azeroth. If the Void wanted Azeroth, you can surely bet that the Light wants it too. All in all, everything wants Azeroth to tip the balance in their favor, and for the longest time, the Titans seemingly have had this in check, given their magnitude of power over the other forces. The only other force to rival their own was, ironically, their own, in Sargeras, whom also used other Titans, as we had seen, as I had said, with Argus and later Agrimar for his crusade, and nearly succeeded in getting all the others to convert by force. Argus, the homeworld of the Eridar or the Draenei, too was used as a sort of battery to revive the Legion, at a faster rate than the Twisting Nether could provide, and it was also used to entrap Sargeras aboard the seat of the Pantheon. The Titan Pantheon used their own sibling as a means to bound Sargeras. Another battery. Another example of this, of them maybe repeating history here. Might have done so with Azeroth here, it's very possible. Where is this all leading? Why talk about the power struggle for Azeroth, or to have Titans on your side in this cosmic war? What does this have anything to do with the last Titan, whom we presume is obviously Azeroth? Because it's paramount on who wins the cosmic war, and that includes the Titans who for the longest time have had her in their grips. I would go on to say that Azeroth is the deciding factor for any of them to win, and for the longest time, she's been out of the race, restricted and bound as a mere battery for all the other forces thus far. No different from how Argus himself was treated. And with just how powerful Azeroth is, or is going to be, we begin to have to ask ourselves, is Azeroth even a Titan if she can topple over Sargeras and the other Titan Pantheon? That she is stronger than them, stronger than death, stronger than everything in the entire cosmos? The Titans are powerful indeed, but I think Azeroth very clearly extends beyond what we've seen the Titans have massed. All this time, I do believe Azeroth obviously has the potential to become a Titan, the Titan, but I also think she is something else entirely, given the strange events that have transpired when Yggdrasil first bloomed, and the aspects were re-aspected. Strange wording, I know. But after losing such power in the fight against Deathwing all those years ago, they make it very clear the new power that they've gained is not that of Titan origin, but instead of Azeroth. And sure, that could just mean that instead of being elevated by the Titans they've come to know over the years, like they were originally last time, they meant that just Azeroth did this alone this time, just by herself without any other Titan Pantheons, without other powers. But I believe it was so specifically stated to not be Titan magic, but of our world, was a dead giveaway. The clues we've addressed time and time again, I think Azeroth holds the capacity to be more than a Titan, and therefore isn't one. At least not yet, and maybe won't be when she wakes up. I know we've quite the relationship with our dear old Shadowlands, but the Elec in the room is there. The only entities that we're aware of right now that may have exceeded the Titan Pantheon are the first ones, who are mysterious and seemingly were the only force that mastered the universe long before the Titans ever did. It is possible that Azeroth is their last, or their legacy of sorts. Is she a first one? Maybe. Or maybe she's just something more powerful than any Titan, but not a first one herself. A new creation maybe, who holds the ability of all of the cosmic forces, as would describe as to why all these forces are even able to use her in some fashion. She's like a coveted prize that the first ones left, their last treasure for the other cosmic forces to claim, but she gained sentience, and now she's about to be her own thing, I think. She's about to be her own force, and she is done being a battery, I think. So, if Azeroth is not the last Titan, who do I think it will be? Should it come to pass that Azeroth is revealed to be something that extends to beyond a Titan, which could be the case, or could be something false, I don't know. I'm no prophet, I can only guess and estimate. That would leave that the Pantheon that we know already as the rest have seemingly been wiped out by Sargeras and his Dark Crusade. And what would make the Pantheon lose so many in an instant if it's just them? What would cause such a catastrophe if a Pantheon of at least 7 are dealt with, are removed from the game? The answer? Iridikron. Who, you might be asking? Well, if you're familiar on this channel, you won't be, as I've been gushing on Iridikron since his debut. But Iridikron is or was a proto-dragon of immense power over the Earth, a rival of Neltharion's own cunning and mastery of war, and holds a large vendetta against the Titans for taking his world from his kind. He may very well know more than he lets on with his connection to the Earth. He might be similar to Magni or Neltharion, where he's able to speak to the Earth, speak to the planet, and that's how he might have discovered all of this big old mystery that the Titans had amassed. He may very well be on our side, or at least Azeroth in his own way. In his own twisted way. Of course, he is kind of giving her up to the void, so he may very well be out of his mind, out of his bonkers, on just how devoted he is to the planet, enough to give her up to other entities. But it may very well just be he sees the void as the lesser evil here than the Titans. Or he plans to make his own move against the void once he's dealt with the Titans. Who knows? Whether you agree with his hatred, understand it, or disagree with such feelings, Iridikron makes it very clear when he made his dealings with Xal'atath and traded the powerful and ancient artifact of the Dark Heart, that he would be coming for the Titans. How? We don't know. But with how all of this is lining up, I have the feeling he will succeed, and in that victory, only one Titan will remain, and the rest will be dust. At least, that's my own assumption, as his own plan details of how Xal'atath will move to claim their coveted prize of Azeroth, and in response it will drive the Titan Pantheon out of hiding to act and return from their seat. Only then will Iridikron make his move against them, a plan that I think will take time to unfold and not occur immediately upon their return as well. The how perplexes me, of course, but it could just very easily be what's connected this entire saga and Iridikron, the Dark Heart, which, if it holds the power to devastate an entire city of arcane energy of Dalaran, along with its powerful leaders, converting any magic it harnesses, which would be the arcane, into the void, as just the start of its power. This is the start. This is the early baby Dark Heart. This is not the full capacity, full potential that it can hold. Like, this is it at its early stage. It can destroy an entire powerful arcane city that has outlasted the Legion. I would not be shocked if such a weapon was somehow turned on the Titans themselves, and also ripped them apart by converting their elevated power against them in the form of the Void. So seemingly Iridikron will get his revenge, maybe. Whom do I think will remain in the rubble of it all once he's done this? My best 3 guesses as it stands right now are Aman'Thul, the leader of the Pantheon and master of time itself, who may very well see all this coming and will save himself. Aman'Thul seemingly starting all of this with his own plans and machinations for all world souls and all titans, as he was the first and was the one who made such edicts. Probably, more than likely, definitely. If anything, you could see him as the greater threat and true enemy of Iridikron, who even points out how the Titans wish to assure certain timelines are kept, that our timeline remains the same, remains the one that the Titans want. Certainly the sort of scheme and plan that Aman'Thul likely made for his own people to always remain on top, by having agents of time preserve his from being tampered with. There is also, of course, Sargeras, who won't be present for the destruction, as he's still trapped on the seat of the Pantheon possibly, and will reside in his prison only to hear that his siblings were destroyed once he is set loose upon the cosmos. And lastly, maybe Eonar, who holds a strong connection to Elune and the Dream, and will find the means to escape her fate with her companion. Eonar and Elune seem to be far more open to life than the rest of the Titans are, as they were opposed to Aman'Thul's wishes of removing the great tree that they planted all those years ago. The same tree that may very well rest in Azj-Kahet, which might have its own unique origins as well. As of right now, I think it makes the most sense to have Sargeras be the last Titan, and be the constant threats to be out there for all of Azeroth, for all of the cosmos. There's certainly more stories to tell with Sargeras, whether it be as a friend or even as a foe, of re-establishing the Burning Legion, or making something new of it. And with his current fate being held in the Sea of the Pantheon, it would make things mightily interesting and concerning if he was the last one of his kind out there. No one is left to really contend him, aside from maybe Azeroth if she isn't a Titan. There is, of course, the loophole of stating that because he left the Titan Pantheon and considers himself more of a dark Pantheon and he's a bit more of a demon, that maybe you could view it as something, you could view him that he isn't a Titan. But that sounds too wishy-washy to me to go on that exact route. But it also was his sword that started this whole story when it first struck down on Azeroth. So it'd be so poetic for him to be the last Titan, to connect all the dots, to connect all the bridges, to have him be the last Titan, and for him to carry on the legacy of his people. Whether that be as a good guy or a bad guy, we'll see. Of course, I have my own favorite of who I'd want to survive, which is Agrimar, who helped forge the Orcs on accident back when he first created Grond on Draenor, a being that would devolve into other breakers and eventually the Orcs. But I have my doubts it'll be him, in spite of me, him being my favorite for obvious and abundant reasons. It just feels too spelled out to be any other Titan besides Sargeras, whom I think is far too big of a reach even for Iridikron to claim in his Titan onslaught. And Aman'Thul likely holds more of the blame than any one of the Titan Pantheon. Sure, Sargeras did some pretty bad stuff, but I don't think he robbed Iridikron of his planet. Sargeras didn't even have anything to do with the ordering of Azeroth, he just has been attacking it. But there's always the possibility that Azeroth herself is the last Titan, and this whole video will be all for naught. And I wouldn't be surprised to learn that it was, really. Maybe there's a double meaning behind this, and Azeroth is not only the last Titan to awaken, but is also the last Titan once Iridikron wipes the board clean of her kind. Certainly plenty to think about in the meantime. We've definitely got quite a long time to still discuss this, and forge for more clues on just what is going on in this World Soul saga. But tell me your own thoughts on this. Do you think Sargeras will be the last Titan? Azeroth maybe? Or someone or something else? Let me know down below. Subscribe if you like this video, leave a like, share, all that jazz. You can also follow us on our Discord, we talk about all sorts of stuff and things, we'd love to have you there. You can also support me on my Patreon like these amazing folks here. But until next time, my friends, hiya!